Hello, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing? This evening, we are back on here, Facebook Live, to share with you some of our thoughts and some of our concerns as it relates to the events that have occurred over the last several weeks. As we can see that our country is in complete turmoil, and somewhat justifiable based upon the actions that have taken place in Minnesota and Kentucky and Georgia, and even right here in Central Park. My brothers and sisters, for us to say that we're tired and we're fed up is truly an understatement. We have seen time and time again how we have been mistreated and justice has evaded us. I also want to say, my brothers and sisters, that we ought to be very mindful that every cop is not bad, and we ought not to paint them with a broad brush. A lot of those very fine men and women that serve in law enforcement, some of them attend our churches, our synagogues, our mosques, and things of that nature. The majority of them are good individuals. But let me also say this as well. If you are a law enforcement officer and you stand by, sit by, and keep silent while injustices are happening to individuals, then you're just as bad as the perpetrator. You need to stand up and let your voice be heard. We can no longer have this type of behavior to happen to anyone. It is not just, it is not right. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of being on Staten Island, part of the National Action Network, as we stood with the brothers and sisters there, Eric Gardner's mother and sister on yesterday, and as we had a prayer visual and a peaceful protest. Let me say this, my brothers and sisters. I know that we are angry. I know that we are upset. I know that we feel passionate about what has transpired. But understand this, it does not justify throwing rocks, bottles, burning down businesses, destroying buildings in our communities, assaulting law enforcement officers. That's not who we are. That's not what we're about. It takes the focus off of what we stand for and what we are trying to accomplish. Let me say this to you. If you notice, other ethnic groups have certain components which make them very viable. Number one, they have economic stability. They spend their money within their community. They have political stability. They are well-versed with the political affairs that go on, with the politicians, and they have unity. They speak with one voice. With all that's going on, all of the protests that's going on, the actions of others that are happening, it is just marring down the voice and what we stand for. So what I would urge you, with all the passion you may have towards what has happened, and I'm not saying, oh, I want to put that fire out. No, I want you to have that fire. I want you to be upset, but I want you to challenge it in the right direction. I want you to focus it in the right direction. That's why I urge you to be a part of an organization, Urban League, NAACP, NAN, or Black Lives Matter, whatever organization that fits your niche, become a part of it. Because then we can come to the table with one voice and speak loudly. But right now, the focus is on store windows being broken, police cars being set on fire. And don't forget, my brothers and sisters, some of those very officers live in our community. They are not in agreement with what has transpired, but their lives are now being put in danger unnecessarily. We must continue to protest. Civil disobedience is okay as long as it's nonviolent. Yes, walk the streets in droves of numbers. Let the people know, let the politicians know that we are not going to take this sitting down. We're going to stand and fight for what is right. But some of us must understand that civil disobedience is not with a stick. Civil unrest does not have to be throwing a bottle. We need to stand as one cohesive unit because all lives matter. We are God's creation. Something that really I found very disturbing. St. Patrick's Cathedral, graffiti painted on it. We cannot disrespect a place of worship. That's not what we are about. I'm glad that other ethnic groups have joined in this movement. But I say to you, let us do it peacefully. And let us respect those who are around us. Again, every police officer is not a bad police officer. So we ought not to paint them with a broad brush. I also say to you, we want to bring on change. Then I urge you, if you are not a registered voter, you need to register and vote. If you have not filled out your census, you need to fill out your census. We need to change our political outlook from top to bottom. Other groups, politicians, are sympathetic to their desires. Why? Because they vote together in one block. We need to start standing together and not just voting just one way, but we really need to challenge those who are seeking our vote and make them earn it. Make them address the things that are sensitive to our needs. Make them accountable to us. Not just come to our churches and say a few words and then we don't see them again. Make them, hold them accountable to us. But we got to speak with one voice. And so I urge you to become politically involved. I urge you to practice civic disobedience. I'm all for all of that, but I'm also for being peaceful in our demonstrations. Because we don't want the narrative to change off of what we're really standing for. And right now, all it's about is destruction. You can't build up when you're destroying things. You can't bring on change when you're destroying things. And So I say to you, my brothers and sisters, I want you to do me a favor. Please share this on your friends list. Get this out. Maybe it will help somebody. Maybe that young guy that's out there that's a part of this will say, hey, wait a minute, I don't need to bust this store window. I don't need to throw this cocktail in this police van. I don't need to spray paint this building or this church or this house of worship. We need to gain control and stay focused. Listen, they arrested the officer with the one that had his knee on our brother neck and Brother Floyd's neck, and they arrested him, but the 3 other officers should be arrested as well. You know, there's this thing called in concert. They often use it on us. And so, you know, because, you know, birds of a feather flock together, you know, they need to be held accountable. I'm going to close with this. Pray for our nation. Pray for our community. Pray for our officers. Pray for law enforcement. Pray for those who are protesting. Pray for the Floyd family, the Taylor family, the Aubrey family, the Cooper family, Mr. Cooper in Central Park, what he had to endure, sad. And many others we may not even know. But pray for our nation. But we need a change. I'm just saying, let the change begin in you. That's what's important. If you work on the change in you, then together we can change our community. We can change our city. We can change our state. We can change our nation. My brothers and sisters, my prayer is with you and your family in these times. And let me also acknowledge all the first responders. God bless you. Our prayers are with you. We thank you for the very fine service that you provide us. But my brothers and sisters, let us stand together. We don't need to destroy our cities. We don't need to bring harm to our communities. We don't need to bring harm to one another. But let us stand unified for justice. I was saying that, man, no justice, no peace. You cannot have peace where there is no justice. But that don't mean you take the community and tear it into pieces. God bless you. I love you. This is Pastor Gray. We love you, and I hope that something that I've said has encouraged you and moved you in a way that you want to do more and better. I love you, my brothers and sisters. Let us stay strong, and let us continue to fight for justice. God bless you.